Good evening. I'm Ryan Bass in for Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. Blistering temperatures have caused nearly 24 deaths nationwide, and the deadly highs have broken numerous records. More than 30 states are baking under a heat advisory, a wave that's taken lives and put millions on high alert. But in the nation's capital, some tourists, well, they're taking it in stride.
It's extremely hot, but we can pretty much take it.
Temperatures are taking a toll on animals as well. In Iowa, the heat has claimed the lives of about 100 cattle. Well, these animals aren't having a hard time keeping cool. That's because at Brookfield Zoo, right outside Chicago, they're getting special treats to keep them cool during the heat wave. The bears got frozen blocks of ice filled with juice berries and peanuts. Lions were served food on a block of ice, and the polar bears got frozen raspberries and blueberries to play with in their pools. Zoo officials are also using water misting equipment to help cool the animals down. Fortunately, the Midwest is getting some relief today in the form of a cold front and some much needed rain. But in Nebraska, farmers are worried about the toll the heat has taken this week on their corn. Corn is currently at the pollination stages, and a long period of heat could mean disaster. Kurt Casper from Omaha affiliate KPTM has more.
You lose a crop, it's devastating no matter what your situation is.
After farming for over 55 years, Alan Wiles knows all too well about losing crops. Earlier this year, he lost 50 acres of soybeans to flooding.
You got a lot of money invested in a crop, and so you lose, you don't get anything.
All he has left are his corn crops, so when temperatures spiked earlier this week, he began to worry.
Anytime it's above 100 degrees, it's risky.
High temperatures can prevent pollination. If the corn is not pollinated, you just have a plant.
Again, cut into the ear, and here's one that's not pollinated out yet.
Tom Verka says crops in the area should survive pollination. High humidity has kept moisture in the plants. The heat, not a concern.
If we're going to have trouble with pollination, it's going to be the later planted corn than the early planted corn.
This corn was planted May 7th, late in the planting season. As you can see by the brown silk, the corn will be fine.
You can see that the corn is starting to fill out good, and the silks are turning color.
For Wiles, that's good news. With earlier morning showers and cooler temperatures, Wiles can breathe a short sigh of relief.
You got to have a little help from up above.
Kurt Casper reporting for INN News.
A study by the USDA Crop Progress Report on Monday showed a national decrease of good crops by 3%, and this is due to higher temperatures in the Midwest. Nebraska and Iowa had the best crops. Around 80% are in good condition. A developing story into INN today. A bomb causes an explosion at government buildings in Oslo, Norway. Windows were blown out of the 17-story building that houses the prime minister. He wasn't hurt, but at least 2 people have been killed. Also, a gunman has opened fire at a camp outside Oslo, where the government's Labour Party youth section's annual gathering was taking place. Several people are reported to be dead. No word yet if these 2 attacks are related. Oslo has never seen violence like this. At least 41 passengers are dead after a bus burst into flames on a highway in central China. The fire was so bad, officials say they'll have to use DNA tests to help identify the bodies. Only 6 passengers managed to escape the overloaded passenger bus. It is still unclear what caused the fire. An investigation is currently underway. Well, check this out. Researchers in South Africa couldn't believe it when this great white shark literally leaped into the back of their boat. And you can bet this 10-foot-long, 1,100-pound catch sent crew members scrambling. Researchers were studying sharks at the time. A fishing boat had to use its crane to lift the shark out, but it wasn't over. A half-hour later, researchers found the shark beached on a small area in the harbor. They used ropes to tow the great white to deeper water. Outside the harbor, the shark regained strength and eventually swam away. If you want to get a closer look at the bridal gown Catherine Middleton wore when she married Prince William, well, here's your chance. It is on display at Buckingham Palace through October 3rd as part of the palace's annual summer opening. Visitors will be able to get an up-close look at the ivory and white satin gown and 9-foot train designed by Sarah Burton. And that's your Global News Now. We take you to North Central Florida now, where there's a heated debate going on over a 10 Commandments monument on the steps of the Dixie County Courthouse. A federal judge has ruled the monument is in violation of the Constitution. County officials have 30 days to respond to the court ruling. George Solis from our affiliate GTN has more on what people are doing to make sure their voices are being heard.
They're gathered around a monument of the Ten Commandments, appealing to a higher power in defense of their religious beliefs. A federal judge says the monument must go, but these locals say not without a fight.
We're not going to have it removed. In this county, it's not going to be moved.
A private citizen owns the statue, and the county agreed to put it on the steps on the county courthouse back in 2006. The American Civil Liberties Union challenged the monument. Now a judge has finally ruled, calling the monument, quote, an unconstitutional endorsement of religion by Dixie County. It shall not be moved. That's the message Cross City residents have for opponents of the Ten Commandments monument. They've come together in prayer over the monument, saying they won't go down without a fight.
I'll tell you what, it's just pitiful.
Some argue because the monument is privately owned, it's protected by free speech. The Liberty Council agrees. The group that advocates religious freedom has stepped in to help the fight. They claim the person who complained doesn't even live in Dixie County.
They can't bring someone from North Carolina down to Florida to encroach upon the people of Dixie County.
Lawyers say if Dixie County commissioners decide to appeal, they have a good chance of winning.
In this particular situation, and in situations like this across the country, where the government opens up a forum for private expression, it is actually unconstitutional not to allow these type of monuments to be put up.
In the meantime, these residents say they'll turn to prayer.
Y'all don't worry about this. God's hands on it, and we got things in the making that's going to take care of it.
Promising to gather every day until the ruling is reversed.
No, we ain't going down without a fight.
George Solis reporting for INN News.
The work week is coming to an end, but there's some bad news about those who aren't working. Brian Latham has that and more as we get back to business.
First-time unemployment claims rose to 418,000 last week. The government shutdown in Minnesota weighed on the overall number for the last 2 weeks, but that ended Wednesday, and state employees are slowly returning to work. New York also saw more filings due to the end of the school year, not from teachers, but instead from support staff. The current unemployment rate in the U.S. is 9.2%. The New York Times says some companies are now requiring job candidates to pass a social media background check before being hired. Social intelligence searches the internet for everything potential employees have said or done online over the past 7 years. The FTC determined that this practice is in compliance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, but privacy advocates worry it invites employers to look at information not relevant to job performance. Concert ticket sales in the U.S. are on the rise, despite an increase in the cost of seeing your favorite performers. After struggling in 2010, ticket sales were up more than 5% during the first 6 months of this year. At the same time, the cost of a concert ticket rose 10% to an average of $67, according to Pollstar. Many artists have helped boost ticket sales by appearing together and choosing smaller venues.
The use of social media and discount outlets like Groupon are also driving sales. For Back to Business, I'm Brian Latham.
Are dollar store deals really deals? I'm Erica Rodriguez. Coming up, I'll give you a list of items that are worth paying $1.
Awesome, because people will think it's my birthday, so they give me presents. It's awesome.
A girl with 2 birthdays, this one celebrates the day her life was saved. How you can save others like her by simply rolling up your sleeve. That's next on INN.